My name is Hannah, and my family and I have been on the mission field as full-time missionaries for the past 13 years in Brazil. And today I'm going to share about 6 different ways on how missionaries actually stay and live and afford to be on the mission field. I feel like talking about money as a missionary is almost like this taboo topic. Like you can't talk about how you make a living or how you survive on the mission field. But I feel like it's important that we have this conversation. So let's get into it. But one of the first things that most missionaries do is they get a job to afford the job that they're doing on the foreign field. Now, for a lot of people, this isn't an option because depending on your visa status or where you're at full time, you can't get a job legally within that country. But some are allowed to or able to get a full-time job in the secular field, in some secular field, to be able to pay and afford their living expenses in that country. And essentially, they get a job to do their other job. So they're called to that country to either start a church or have some kind of an outreach or some kind of a program to reach people in that nation. And so they have this other job that funds their ability to stay in the country, pay their bills, and do the ministry work that the Lord has called them to do. Now, some denominations have an organization or a system where all of their missionaries are fully funded through their church denomination. That's not our case necessarily, but praise God for the missionaries that do have that available to them. And that is obviously a tremendous blessing and a weight off your shoulders so that now you can go to the mission field full-time, fully focused, 100% of your time, attention, and energy on the purpose that you are fulfilling in that country. Now, the third way that some missionaries can eventually pay for their living expenses on the foreign field is their actual project or church or ministry on that foreign field starts to make enough money to pay them. Now, this is obviously the long game. We're talking about years of planting, of working, of building your organization before it can ever pay you a salary. And when it can pay you a salary, that is sometimes a very small salary, especially if you're like us, where we're in a third world country and that salary is minimal compared to your living expenses. And so that's obviously a fantastic way to be able to make money or have money provided to you, but it's not always the case for a lot of missionaries. A fourth way that missionaries make money is by itinerating. Now, this is usually where they will return to their home country, in our case, the United States, and they will itinerate, which means that they will find opportunities to minister in churches around their area or around the country where they will go, they will minister, and obviously any offering that is given during that time is a tremendous blessing to help them continue what they do in their nation. One of the focuses here is to raise awareness about what they're doing in their country, how God's using them, what God's doing through them, and to find new partners to be able to partner with them. Now, a fifth way that missionaries make money is by creating passive income opportunities. So whether that may be a business or an investment property, I'm sure there's a million different creative ways that some missionaries have been able to do this, but where they create opportunities where their money is making money for them. This is the step we're working on, is saving up money to be able to buy a property in the United States where that home can not only serve our family when we come to the United States to rest and to itinerate and to be with family, but also when we're not in the States as a investment opportunity. So we can rent it out on Airbnb or part-time rentals, and that can serve as passive income for our family. If you've gotten this far in the video, then you are the true VIP. But the last way that missionaries make their money is through partners. This is the classic, old school way where missionaries depend on men and women of God, churches, pastors, businessmen and women to come alongside them and become monthly partners. But partners have always been a difficult one for us, but it is one of the classic ways where people raise funds so that they can stay on the mission field, do what God's calling them to do without having to go out and find a job, and be able to focus full time on what they're doing in their foreign nation. So that's 6 ways that I could think of on how missionaries make a living to be able to live full time on the mission field doing what God has called them to do. Now, I'm sure this list is not an exhaustive one. So if you have another idea, or if you're a missionary that has found another way to make income to be able to live full time on the mission field, comment on this video. I would love to hear your ideas.